We are still broadcasting from our television house here in Akpata Yakuba, Ilorin. We want to say thank you for being a part of the show. Up next is our guest, and he, of course, is here with us here in the studios. Remember that you can join us via Star Times 113, Free TV 502. We're also live on Facebook at Kwara TV. Our guest is a lecturer from the Rudin University, the Russian Federation. He's a lecturer of mass communications and media journalism. And of course, he's here with us this morning. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. Our guest is Mustafa Mohammed Jami. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you.
It's a pleasure having you on the show.
Likewise. And good morning to Kwarans and Nigeria.
Yeah, Alejo Ekaro.
Ekaro.
Tosin.
All right, thank you very much. So I want your reaction on the issue of Nigerians, going abroad to study. It's not a bad thing, when you want to learn more, in another country, you want to experience what it is like, the institution, like we go for medical vacations and all of that. But right now, it's becoming something huge, and of course it's becoming a medium to leave the country, I want your reaction on that first before we go on.
All right. Thank you once again. Good morning, Kwarans. Good morning, Nigeria. The question isn't new, and I believe that a couple of people, or those who have experienced living the country, or those who live in the country, have been discussing these issues. And like you said, it isn't something bad, because even those who are in abroad that we believe we are going to meet also do travels to other countries to learn. Why do they go? Traveling itself is a process of learning. It isn't only about sitting in the classroom before you get to have a normal education. In fact, more than 50% or 70% of our educational process are not in the classroom or even that particular place that we travel to. But the people you meet, the environment you go, the exchange and culture, all these amount to the development of individuals in shaping their minds by the time they'll be returning back to their society. So that is a big plus. It isn't anything bad. Whether you go for study, whether you go for just tourism, whether you go for any other purpose, so far as it is for positive, it's highly good. But when we are talking about influx of like one of the scholars called it, he said exit generation. So exit generation simply means when your home is becoming a hell for you, you had to leave. So that question wouldn't be about those who are living it again. It will also be about those who are steering the affairs of the country, that how well are you managing the people? How well are you keeping them? How well are you holding your resources, the human resources? Because the same thing that you're allowing to leave is what those who are over there are keeping and holding tight. So it isn't bad for people to say, yes, this place is not, good, well enough for me again. I need to find a better ecology. So I would say that we may delve into reasons, we may delve into patriotism, why people should stay back to still do. Yes, we can talk about some other part of that, but we shouldn't forget what is going on. If it's about education, I wouldn't say it's because of education largely. Like many of you are saying now, yes, they say Japa. So Japa, we know that more than 90% of Japa are not going there to be educated. They went there for greener pasture, right? But there are a lot who went there, and many of those Japa too, by the time many of them get there, they may have the intention of going just to Japa. By the time they got there, they realized that there's something here for me to learn and get. And many are even returning back because they realize that business is quite thriving at home, and it's much easier for you to keep your money than over there. So they would have, one way or the other, attract some skills to use and return back home. The only thing we will challenge our government is that even if they manage to run away or Japa, they should find a way to restructure the country so they can be motivated to return home.
I want to compare Nigerian students, to the ones that they go out there to meet. How are they thriving, educational-wise,
How are Nigerians thriving?
Yes, the Nigerian students, you know.
I've been all my higher educations are outside Nigeria. First degree, 2 master's degree, PhD, they're all outside Nigeria. Then and I met a couple of Nigerians outside in different countries, and I know how well they're doing. Your home is different from another place. For you to be able to balance and stay in that particular place, you have to do extraordinary things. And I do say it to people that if you meet any Nigerians, if any Nigerians could survive Nigeria itself, with our population, with the dynamics of issues and even the positivities and anything, you should be able to survive any other places in the world. It may be an accession to an extent, but to an extent, it's also it amounts to many things, because Nigeria encompasses a couple of many things that you will find in about 10, 20 countries. So it has that. With that, it prepares you to know that wherever you're going into war. You need to prepare yourself to stay ahead. So many Nigerians are thriving. I remember my university last year, among the medicine students that graduated, Nigerians had about 3 of them out of many African countries that went the top class, red diploma, first class. Same in many places. So that's why you see that I wouldn't say that if anyone leave the country and go to somewhere to better themselves, I don't blame you. The only thing I would try to encourage you is to be patriotism regardless of wherever you are, and never forget home to add on to what is there in order for it to be well developed.
All right, thank you so much. But I still want to know what the countries outside Nigeria are doing right, education-wise, especially when it comes to maybe tertiary education, for example. I want to know how they are doing it right and what we are doing wrong in Nigeria. Because I saw a viral video where a university in UK where a lecturer was in class and he was calling attendance in that class, and almost 90% of that class were Nigerians. You actually think that it was a university in Lagos or something. You know, Nigerians were basically dominating the population in schools in UK. Now, what are they doing right? Is it the curriculum that is different? Is it the environment that is conducive for learning? Or is it other opportunities that we get? So what are they doing right that Nigerians should learn from? And what are we doing wrong?
Of course, a lot. A lot to learn from. Yes, that's why we have what we call learning from best practices. It's a common notion that we know that, yes, one way or the other, someone might have done something better. How do I also find a way not to copy and paste? That's one of the major problems of Nigerian institution, not only university, I mean institution, the system itself. Copy and paste. There's nothing bad in seeing someone thriving and I want to learn. Learn to adapt into the reality of your own. Nigeria is different from Ghana, even though they are both West African countries, once colonized by British, but they are different. So what is the reality of Nigeria? What is Ghana doing best? Okay, they are doing it. We can compare population of Nigeria and Ghana. What are they doing well? How are we going to adapt and find a way to make sure this works with our system? In doing that, it means you have to understand yourself very well. So one of the key things is that enabling environment. I was telling someone 2 days ago, because I just arrived some days ago, and I visited an institution, and I said, okay, they are doing well in this particular institution as far as Kwara is concerned, compare. And I said, and even with that, you see those chairs you see in those special offices in some high offices are chairs you see in the corridors for students in our university. You see, they don't care. What they care about, how are you going to rest? There was a time, I think I was in my office over there, then I saw a chair, one of my colleagues, this is a very nice chair, a chair that could have been in our own office to say, yes, should be here. And they just brought more new, and students feel relaxed. They don't feel, pressured. They are there sitting. They don't even need to go home. They don't want to run to anywhere.
So the comfort of the students.
The comfort itself matters. That's number one. Number two is that curriculum development matters, not obsolete. So every university must have a face. That's another thing. Every university must have a face. Beyond just a name or word to say, our university is University for Agriculture. What does it mean to be a University of Agriculture? More than 90% of courses or things that we'll be doing should be about agriculture and output. They should be part of the major people that are solving the problem of agriculture in the country.
So if I get you right, you just say University of Technology, and they are not, doing anything to.
I'll give you another example.
Technology.
Where I had my first master's degree is called University of Technology. That's what they do. More than 95% of any courses they are doing, it's all about technology. I think more than 98%, just 2%, 3% with other courses where I did communication, because they need to use it to complement the works and help them beyond, to have some soft skills and other stuff. So what did they do? Most of the things in Moscow during this winter, during the Christmas, things they used to design the cities are being designed by their students. Same in my university routine. Things that you will see that has to do with ecology, they are practical work, not practical to just test. They are being contracted, they make money through it, and they get their marks through it, and they get the job automatically by the time they leave. They deserve the job. You say University of Agriculture, more than 50% or 40% of those who will be graduating should be going into the system automatically. That's how a good system would do. So we can learn from that those who are in charge of higher institutions needs to know that every university should design a unique face based on the reality of that particular university. In doing that, we do it well. Same thing I was challenging. I said, every state in Nigeria must have a face. What is Kwara known for? Is it about cashew? Is it about agriculture? So everything that has to do with large 60-70% of Kwara will be about agriculture, and that agriculture means not all other states are depending on that from Kwara. Kwara will be depending on Aba for technology. This will be depending on this. In doing that, it helps you to grow and patronize one another. Not to say that Kwara said, I want to also invest into technology, I want to go into this, you can't go to
it reduces the government, fund in investing in different sectors because the institution has taken care of it. So why are we not doing that? Why are our leaders not doing that?
It's hard to say sometimes. I'm also not one of those who will be ranting and just be talking as if they know everything. I don't know everything. Because it is easy for the fans watching football and from the side and looking at this, because you see everything. You are not the one running that from in that place. You are not the one, the ball is in your leg, but you can actually see. And that person who is playing can only see that particular place he's playing. You can see from there, but by the time they ask you to go, maybe you can barely survive a 2 minutes or 3 minutes on the pitch. So I know how leadership can be, how tough it can be, but it is not enough excuse for leaders. The reason you were going there before was to solve a problem. And the reason you have different people in different offices, as commissioner, as ministers, as all those things, is because you need them to help you in those different areas. You can see I'm trying to balance it to an extent, not to point finger, but to show them where they need to put more of their energy on. You are being tasked. You have no excuse not to deliver. Do it for us, and let's see the results. So,
all right, thank you very much. Now, so I want to ask, now that we now know the problems, in the papers, we saw the president, begging, Nigerian doctors to come back home. Should you also start to beg, professionals, academia like you to come back home and, be come into politics, take leadership role, and change things, as it should be?
It's easier to beg or to use patriotism approach to lure people, but it is not enough. You can't use that, because that is not what will pay my dues, will pay my bills. No, it won't. I won't invest in myself for more than 10 years in higher education, and you just expect me to just sit just in the name of patriotism? No, that's not how it works. Some of us, even though I support people coming back home, because I do come home regularly, and I always have something I do whenever I come to support the system. Even from afar, I do. But when it comes to things to take care of myself, who am I going to look at? What do they need to? President does not need to beg. President just needs to control and work. Do the do. You work in the system, people knows, we can smell it when we know something is getting better. People will come and themselves when they see that those things are in place for them. Well, to an extent, they can persuade those who will be ready to come, at least to start, because someone has to start. But we still believe we have many. Nigeria has large population. We have many who are in the systems who can be highly motivated to stay, not to go. Take an action by giving them those things you want to give those who you want to attract to come home. Give it to those who are still around, for them to settle. Those who are at home are far, will now realize that things are getting better. They'll be returning home bit by bit. That's, I think, instead of begging, we should act and do what they are waiting for.
All right, thank you so much. I'm just going through your bio here, and of course it says that you're a co-founder and coordinator of Center for Research on Development of African Media, Governance and Society. Now, looking at the media in Nigeria, I want your assessment, especially when we try to compare ourselves with the Western world. I need your assessment on that, being a professional in the field. Do you think we are doing badly, or do you think we are also at par with those?
I wouldn't say we are doing badly at all when it comes to professionalism, when it comes to this, because I believe that every country, when it comes to this area of media development, they are struggling to develop on their own, and they are facing those problems with their own. Rather, I want to encourage our professionals in this particular society or in our country to be more professional in reality. Professional. So professionalism, ethics, you don't trade it with any other things. If you want to sustain that professionalism you carry in your head. So they need to remember that. Yes, there are best practices, again, like we said. We will see, but to an extent, for me, at this stage, in my field of research, it's hard for me to point at one particular country to say they are doing best, because some of us have done research to an extent and we know that they are worst on their own. So I wouldn't compare Western, even when it comes to democracy, leadership, I don't compare. I'm only trying to see how it can be balanced, because our people are also not doing it well. If not, I don't like comparing, because I've seen some problems from their side too.
As well.
So they also have their problems. We have a face as an Africa. How do we adapt to the content of Africa, professionalism in media in itself? Our narratives. How are we pushing it? More than 50% of many content of our guys are about Westerns. It's not about, they are not about Africa, about Nigeria. I don't want to mention any media houses here, but we know what we see on many of them in the name of internalization. No, internalization doesn't work like that. When you go there, how many times do they carry your own works overhead if it is not something that is about newsworthy? Do you know what newsworthy means? Largely of newsworthy means catastrophe, means disaster, means bad things. If it isn't for that, because it is what sells most, they don't care about you. I'm sorry.
All right, it's very interesting though, but I must say that, but do you think that the Nigerian media can get there?
They can, of course. If I wouldn't believe that they can't, I am a media and journalism and communication and a scholar. And the reason I do my research, and I have a whole research center here around here, not over there. I said it's up here. We work with a couple of professionals here, and I know hundreds of them who are highly good. Again, how well is our system supporting these people? I remember in 2020, during the COVID, when issues arise, things becomes, turning all around. One of the first things the Russian Federation did, the government did with the entrepreneur, was, we can see that you're losing and all this. They bring a lot of money to support small medium enterprises and companies. We don't want you to increase. anything. We'll be giving you a certain amount to support your loss.
Oh.
You don't just leave those who are making the country thrive and just leave them. You're not giving them good electricity. You don't want people to steal. They will steal.
Sure.
You want people. You don't want only one business to dominate. You are not giving them things to make them competitive. When there's no competition, there cannot be development. There has to be competition in everything, and it can only be when government truly. It is not about paper. We have SMM medium. We have all this that we give to politicians. We give to those who are closer to us. We don't account. We don't have monitoring evaluation. We don't follow up on those developments. That's not how it works. It's not enough for government to say, we have done this and you'll be counting it and check it. No. It is about what outputs, results. If we can't see results, like all the Yoruba will say, Ibere, ki se onise. So the beginning is not the main work. How well you finish is what we will assess.
All right, our time is a little fast-paced. I don't know if you have any.
There is a course, a short course is coming down directly from Rodin University on intercultural communication and community journalism. It's absolutely free. It's a scholarship. You just need to apply first. When you apply, and it is physical, it is 20 hours course with real certificate, not virtual. The certificate is going to be sent down from Moscow and you get it, and it is professional certificate. Intercultural communication, it goes for almost everyone, be it manager, be it media communication, be anything who deals with communication across the world or in your society, even digital culture. Same community journalism, if you are an influencer, if you are a blogger, or you are a young media owner, it will be good for you. So if you can join, we will share the link later, and you can apply there. Then by January, the course will come up in Kwara in conjunction with Kwara State University at Kwara State University Business School.
All right, thank you very much once again. I guess, of course.
Àìkọ́ kan tí ń bọ̀ wá láti ilé ìwé wa ní Russian Federation tó wà fún àwọn gbogbo irú alẹ́ ìtànpẹ̀ ní intercultural communication tí a gbé wá ọ̀fẹ́ ni fún 20 hours àti community journalism wo báwo la ṣe ń ṣe nínú ìlú, báwo la ṣe understand ìlú àwùjọ wa, báwo ni èèyàn ṣe máa ń report rẹ̀ láwùjọ, èyí méjèèjì tá a gbé wá ní ìbájọṣepọ̀ pẹ̀lú Kwara State University àti Kwara State University Business School àtàwọn àwọn míì náà tá a jọ ń ṣiṣẹ́ lórí rẹ̀. Ọ̀fẹ́ ni ẹ̀kọ́ yìí. Ìwé ẹ̀rí sì wà fún ìwé ẹ̀rí sì ń bẹ láti Russian Federation.
All right, our time is up. On behalf of Suleiman and of course that Baka, I want to thank you very much for joining us on the show this morning. Thank you.
It was a pleasure having you.
Thank you.